Well, hello, friends. All right, got a long list of topics, and got time. Got to make hay while the sun is shining, so to speak. Trust. I just want to have some things, bubbled up in my life that really doesn't matter about that so much, but caused me to ponder about the topic of trust. Trust with other people, and can we blow our trust with God? And with some people, does God blow their trust with them? I know that sounds almost blasphemous, but people have been like that in the Bible too. People have gotten angry with God, and I've known people get angry with God. I think there was one or two times in my life that I could say I was angry with God. Not for long, but I'm not going into that. But the topic of trust, this is going to be just, I'm going to crack this open and see where it goes. And if I refer to the Bible, I will look the Bible verses up after I make the video. And I will just put them in, edit them in. And if I misquote the Bible in some way, I will correct myself. But I'll do my Bible research this time after I've done this talk. And trust with people. Now, I'm not saying anything I'm saying here is going to be anything new to anybody. But, trust with people, really, it's like doing business with the bank, and you're the bank. And people that you meet throughout your entire life, from earliest times to the last moments here. All the people you meet, they come in with some degree of trust or mistrust. They come in with some people come in without, they're already in a hole. They got to build a trust with you. You don't even know them. But I'm going to talk a little bit about people with trust, how it works between people, my observations in life experience. Then I'm going to go into how about with God, and there's a topic. In my thought, it's the same, but it's much different. So we'll look at that. I'll dive into that. With people, like when your children are born, or your siblings, you start out life with your siblings, and people in your family start out with a plus. They get, like, if you got, like, let's say you've got 100, to put it in numbers, 100 trust units. 100 means I trust you completely, almost. So you start out with, I'm giving you, just because you're my brother or you're my parent or you're my child, or, you're going to get like automatically 50 trust units from me for free. Because, you're part of my family and we have to work together and I love you. So you start out with a plus, and as you go through life in relationships with people that you're close to, because they're family, and you're stuck with family, kind of, more or less, stuck with family. If they don't blow your trust, let's say, hopefully they never do anything enormously horrible to you that would cause injuries to you, their trust is like build up interest. They started out with 50 and they've been good to you all these years. Now they've got like 500 because they've never blown their trust with you. And it just builds. The more time goes by and the more we experience life together, and you turn out to be somebody I know I can count on, you go from the initial issue of 50 for being a family member, and now, 10, 20 years later, 50 years later, you got quite a treasure of trust with me. I trust you a lot. And it works the other way around. Say that family member messes you over bad. And I've seen this happen. I've seen a lot of it. And I bet you have too. Family members can sometimes be your worst enemies in ways. And now they're down to zero. I don't trust you at all. Or worse yet, they owe you. I don't, they're in the hole. And they got to dig their way out of it when it comes to regaining your trust. You just don't give them another 50. You can do it again. You can say, it depends whether or not they really are repentant. It's a lot, really, it's not as simple as I'm making it sound. If they're truly repentant, like Christ said, you forgive them, they start over with 50 again. 50 is the number, I just come up with that. I don't know, just you get 50 trust points with me right off the bat. Use it wisely and it will grow. Blow your trust with me and you're going to wind up in a hole. If you come to me and say, hey, I'm sorry, forgive me. Because Christ set an example for me, I forgive you. You get 50 points again, over and over. But sometimes it doesn't really work that it should, but it doesn't. I forgive you, but I don't trust you. There's a difference. I forgive you, but I don't know about trusting you, all right? What's it going to take to regain for me personally, everybody's different. But when somebody really blows their trust with me, this is probably a weakness with me, all right? But it's hard to get it back with me. Once you blow your trust, really blow it with me. I let things go. You keep blowing your trust with me, and I get to a point, you're going to have to work to get that trust back. And namely just say, look, I'm really sorry, forgive me. That goes a long ways, but so many people cannot say, I did wrong to you. Forgive me, please. I won't do it again. You know how many people have a hard time doing that? A lot. That goes a long ways with me. I know some people that doesn't go anywhere with them. You blow your trust with them, you can say, I'm sorry, I love you, forgive me, till the cows come home. It ain't going to budge them one bit. Everybody's different. So trust with people. And then you've got people that right off the bat, through prejudice and of whatever sort, doesn't necessarily mean race, could mean anything. I don't like the way this person looks. This person's giving me a bad vibe. I don't trust them. So they're off. Before I'm talking about family members, your children, your siblings, your parents, to some extent your aunt and uncles, extended family, your grandparents. Grandparents get a lot of trust. But let's just say people off the street. How much do you trust a stranger? It depends on a lot of things. It depends upon your position and their position. It depends upon the circumstances of your meeting. It depends upon a lot of things. But they usually don't get, a healthy amount of trust right off the bat because we're conditioned in life to watch out for that. And I know that causes a conflict with Christianity because Christ told us to give to everybody, turn the other cheek, and that's a pretty high mark for us to live to. There's a purpose in life. If you can't figure out why you're here, Jesus gave you and me, I'm talking to myself right now, plenty of purpose in life. Try to be more Christ-like each day with everybody you meet. Right up to that point that a stranger that I meet off the street, he doesn't look like me or whatever the situation is. I'm working with this person and something about them seems shifty. So trust, it's, I could go on and on about this. I think you know where I'm going. But we all are like a bank when it comes to trust, and people can either build upon that account or they can wipe it out. And everybody starts out with usually a little bit of trust, or maybe some people totally, like on combat. Am I going to trust the enemy? Life is combat. You could say, am I going to trust this stranger? Am I going to trust this car salesman? Or this lawyer, or this judge, or this politician? Or some people don't trust priests or preachers. It depends upon, if they don't trust somebody a different color than me. They don't speak the same language. They don't look like me. They don't dress like me. They come from a different neighborhood. they've got a criminal rap sheet, whatever you want to say. Or I've heard rumors about them. You know, just gossip can really wreck people's trust with you before you've even met them. So everybody starts out more or less, they have a deficit with you, or they come into life or into the relationship with you with, you've given them, you've invested some trust in them. Let's see what they do with it. Only thing it'll grow. All you have to do, just don't mess me over. Don't let me catch you lying, stealing from me, or don't let me catch you looking at my woman. Boom, boom. You know, I'll go the lights. Don't let me catch you blowing your trust with me one way or the other. You know, gossiping about me in a bad way, slandering me, maligning me in some way. That's not hard. You know, it's not. Just be a good friend. Be a good family member. Be honest, fair with me, up front. If I do you wrong, come to me about it. If I do you wrong, I'll come to you about it. Or you come to me and say, hey, Tim, you've wronged me. And like a man, hopefully, a Christian man, I will hear what you have to say, and I'll say, yeah, I see your point. I wasn't even thinking about that. Or, yeah, you got me. I'm sorry about that. I won't do it again. You have my word. That's another thing. Somebody gives you a word or a handshake or their word or a vow or a promise. I know some people, I've seen people personally put their hand on a Bible, a church-going person. I saw this personally in court. Put her hand on a Bible and swore the oath under God to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and lied right through her face. And very convincingly. Convincing enough that the judge bought it, which was a complete barefaced lie with her hand on a Bible swearing to God to tell the truth. Some people, yeah, some people are quite good at that. And so I want to get off this and talk a little bit about trust with God, because trust with people, yeah. I'm not going to do what I always do and rehash what I already said. My dishwasher going. I don't trust my dishwasher. Sometimes it gets the dishes clean, sometimes it doesn't. Machines. How about trusting machines? All right. With God, can we blow our trust with God? How many times we ask God for forgiveness? Lord, forgive me. I sinned. I did some really terrible things, Lord. I confess my sins to the Lord and then do them all over again. Blow our trust. We transgress the Lord. People do this all the time with God. And God, if we keep asking for forgiveness, I'm to believe He will forgive us. He'll give us a clean slate every time. I forgive you. So I don't think we can really blow our trust with God so long as we keep coming back for and asking with a sincere, contrite heart, repentant heart, forgiveness. That's my understanding of it. I was thinking about that, and this is going to sound a little strange, but when I was thinking about this, I was doing my dishes, and I've got the window right in front of my sink. What is it about? I don't like a kitchen that doesn't have a window over the sink. Something about it, having your hand in that water and looking out, getting sunlight in your eyes. Right? Is it just me? It's depressing to do your dishes in a kitchen where there's no window over the sink. Is it just me? So I'm doing my dishes and I'm looking out the window and I got a screen. It's summertime, it's August still, barely. And there's this huge spider that's had its nest right on the other side of the screen, not in my house. Different if it's in my house. And see, I'm going to get rid of it one way or the other. Maybe I'll throw it outside. Maybe I'll kill it. And but it's on the other side of the screen. So I let this thing live. I feel like a god. I had some bug spray of sorts, and I was getting ready to zap it. And I thought, why? You know why? I could take this spider's life. Why? It's not bothering me. So I was thinking about this, blowing our trust with God. Well, yeah, we don't blow our trust with God. God always forgives us. We come back, we're just like little kids that he loves. Innocent little kids that he loves. And I thought, briefly, well, yeah, that's because we're like this spider is to me. I spared that thing's life. It's a big, nasty looking spider. And I just, like a God, decided you get to live. And I hope you have a long, happy spider life on the other side of that screen. But then the thought came to me, no. It's not that. It's not like me with that spider. That, yeah, you get to live. There's nothing they can do to bother me on the other side of the screen. But it's like we're like a little bug to God. How can we ever upset God? We're like an insect. And he's merciful to us because we're his insects. I'm not saying that. You know what I'm saying. He's God, and he created us, and he could destroy us. And but fortunately, he's not that kind of God. But then it occurred to me, no, Tim, you're much more than an insect to God. He gave his only son for you so that you could have that forgiveness. There's a big thing there. When you're talking about blowing trust with people, regaining trust with people that got to work for it, usually, it takes time and their effort to ever get that trust back with you. But God, you just say, Lord, forgive me, I've sinned. And he'll read your heart. And if you keep sinning and keep asking for forgiveness, he'll keep forgiving you. But, we're only hurting ourselves. Usually, if we keep doing the same wrong things over and over, transgressing God, and he's forgiving us, he has an infinite number. There's no set number. There's nowhere in the Bible where God would just say, I can think of, except with people that just stopped asking for forgiveness, like the Israelites. They just went completely away from him in their sins, and sin will do that to you. If you start sinning badly, it will cause a barrier between you and God. You'll stop praying. You'll stop talking to God. I've lived this. Backslidden. It will cause a barrier between you and the Lord to where you won't be asking for forgiveness. You won't be seeking his love and forgiveness and grace and mercy. And you never know. You may be in that state of ungrace because you've walked away from the Lord when your time to go home comes suddenly. And me too. Where was I going with this? Oh God. I just said I was going to go with this. We're much more than that to God. Infinitely more than that to God. And the relationship deepens. Far deeper than what I can know here on earth. Even amongst people on earth, like my children or my family members, or it could be a spouse or somebody I love deeply, deeply, and would forgive them over and over. But if they keep hurting me, it gets to be a point. That's where I was when I digressed. It gets to be a point with some people, you walk away because you're tired of getting hurt. And God doesn't do that with us. Thank God. Thank you, Lord. I don't see it in the Bible where if we ask God for forgiveness, that he's going to say, sorry. Sorry. No more. I'm done with you. This is the 50th time you've asked forgiveness for the same thing you keep doing over and over. We're done. I'm turning my back on you. Good luck. It's a mean world out there. You no longer have my protection or my forgiveness or my blessing or my promise. God doesn't work that way. Family members work that way. They can. We're not God. We're not God. So that's the mark we strive, a high mark indeed, to keep forgiving, even when people blow their trust with us. All right, here's another darker thing to flip the coin over. With some people, with angry people, and they have their reasons. I'll never tell somebody they're wrong if they're angry with God, you better be careful. Because it takes a lot to make somebody angry with God. Something deep, deep. Tread lightly on that one. That's my suggestion. Because I've known people get real angry with God. That God, to them, blew trust with them. I've seen people turn their back on God. It's sad, sad, sad thing. And a few times I've been angry. I had to really stand back and look at things, and sometimes it takes time to put everything in perspective. And sometimes things don't come into perspective. Even through your lifetime, you may never understand why these things happen to you or somebody you love. And then did God blow his trust with you? That when somebody's hurt to that level with our Lord, and in order for God to blow his trust with somebody, for somebody to get mad at God, implies that they love and believe in God to start with. Because somebody that's an atheist or they don't really follow Christianity, I'm going to turn this thing off. Hold on a second. Back on. I had to turn my dishwasher off. I should have started out that way. Oh, here's another thing. My alarm. I've got lasagna in the oven. I forgot all about it. Sorry, once again, I'll be right back. I gotta take it out. Good lasagna. Is there any other type? This is going to be exceptionally good lasagna. I put a lot into this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, baby. I'm sorry about that. Sorry for the interruption. People that are angry with God because they feel God blew his trust with them. That happens, doesn't it? What do you say to somebody like that? I pray for them. Personally, I pray for them. If somebody's that upset that they feel God betrayed them, let them down, there's some underlying issues going on. Usually pretty deep. In my experience with people that have very few, but you will meet this at times. Somebody that loved the Lord and then they get angry with God. That's I think that's between them and the Lord. I generally pray for them. And I listen to what they have to say. If they start getting blasphemous in their anger, I leave, just leave their company. Say, sorry man, I gotta go. I'm sorry you're feeling this way. See you around. Take care. Take care of yourself. I'll come back, check up. Let's go get a bite to eat somewhere sometime. Stay their friend. Stay close to them. Pray for them. But that's an inner thing I think they have to work out. This is my experience. They have to work out themselves. If you feel brave enough to start counseling them, like, why do you feel this way, man? I'm going to let you know a lot of hurt and anger are going to come out when the trust issue, they feel God blew his trust with them. They may have emotional issues, some deep, deep issues. You don't know what they are, so be careful. My advice, stay their close friend and pray for them because they need it. Because these are Christians that love the Lord, that fell out with the Lord. And you can't be angry. Here's a saying. It's been said that you can't be angry at somebody you don't love. And I've thought about that. You can't be angry at somebody you don't love. If I didn't love you, I can't be angry with you. Because I don't really care. You don't matter to me at all. That holds up in relationships. With somebody you loved, that holds up true. That doesn't hold up with strangers. I don't think it holds up with strangers very well. But yes, and for somebody to be angry with God implies that they love God. And now they feel God has let them down in some way. So this is a person that needs your prayers a lot, and very quiet, gentle understanding. Be careful, because usually the hurts and injuries go deep to get somebody angry with God, you know. So I've looked at it. I think trust issues with people on earth are very complex. Really, I don't have enough time tonight or tea or battery power on my camera to go into that one. Trust issues with God. We blow in our trust with God, He'll forgive us every time we come back and ask for forgiveness. But remember, if we start backsliding, I've done this, start backsliding, keep committing those sins that we keep asking forgiveness for, to the point that God doesn't back away from us, we back away from God. Because I'm too embarrassed to talk to God. You know, sin will separate you from God. And it gets to a point where you're not even asking for forgiveness anymore. And they got you. The devil's got you. God knows if you're asking with a contrite heart and a sincere heart, forgiveness. And if you really feel a repentant heart that you regret whatever it is, your transgressions. But if you keep committing them, it will harden your heart, and you will just turn from God and more into the world, into the sin. And like I said, the danger there is you don't know when your time comes. Death comes like a thief in the night. Death comes like a thief in the night. It's in the Bible somewhere.
Now, brothers and sisters, about times and dates, we do not need to write to you. For you know very well that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. While people are saying peace and safety, destruction will come on them suddenly, as labor pains on a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 2 and 3.
The danger there is you don't know when your time comes. Death comes like a thief in the night. Death comes like a thief in the night. It's in the Bible somewhere. And it may catch you on one of those backslidden moments where you slid away from the faith. That's the danger. Now, so I guess I'm summarizing what I talked about. And what if, not a little more, when we think that maybe God let us down, and I'm talking about other people I've seen get angry with God, real angry with God, to the point where they don't even want to hear about it. And they may start blaspheming anything. They're angry. And they blame God for their problems or their hurt or their loss. Like I said, that's a pretty heavy topic. Go into it with a lot of prayer and a lot of tender love. And my advice is be more of a listener. And, be careful with that one. Now let me talk about myself. God, I pray to God. I don't want to be tempted beyond my measure. I mean, I've been through a lot. I'm going through a lot right now. New things have come up that are very hard. And I'm not going to talk about them here. Very hard. And I've had things happen in my life to where I'd say, ha ha ha, nice, the joke's on me, Lord. I felt like I really felt this way, briefly. Like heaven must be up there getting some kind of weird laugh at me here on earth, like a good laugh on me. But I didn't. I felt that way maybe for an hour. and then I got over it, and no, God didn't, God forgive me for saying that. Help me get through this, But, I'm not saying there's no pain or hurt or injury that could happen to me. I'm only human, and so are you. They would push me to that point to where I get angry with God and I don't even want to talk to Him. Oh. So what do we do to be ready for that? That's a scary world. We trust in the Lord. We keep our relationship with the Lord open. We look to the example of Jesus on the cross, who took it all the way, suffering to the cross. And we look to the other examples like Job, who was really tested hard and didn't turn his back on God angry, lost everything, his family, his land, his health, everything, his business. So we need to stay strong in the faith and stay close to the Lord and be careful not to backslide to where we are separated from God, and there we might be caught up by the enemy. Be caught up by the enemy when we're weak. So we have to stay strong and understand that this world is going to try all of us. None of us are getting out of here alive. We're not taking our stuff with us either. None of our stuff you get to keep. Just your soul and your love and your lessons. And I believe our relationships, the ones that count with the people in our lives here that pass on, people before us and people to come after us. Our heavenly family is eternal. We are eternal. Our Lord, our relationship with God. Get this. Your relationship with God that you've known here on earth, on this troubled time here, that's eternal. You're always going to have that relationship with God and Jesus and your heavenly family, I believe too, which my loved ones that have passed before me. And a lot of them. And I've moaned a few, have lost a few, and I'll continue to lose loved ones until my time comes. But those relationships, I think they're eternal. But your relationship with God is eternal. So is mine. So I thought that the whole trust topic would be something that would be interesting to crack open and take a look at. And that's all I did here, was just took a topic and cracked it open. And I'd be interested to hear your insights on the topic of trust. Trust with people, trust with God. Blown trust, earned trust, entitled, bestowed trust. That, I don't know the word I'm looking for. You enter life with trust. Your children are born, your siblings, people in your family, they get trust right off the bat. Unless they blow it. I'm recovering things. That Spider's trust that I'm not going to have a bad night and hose him down with insecticide on the other side of the screen and over my sink. I'm not going to do that. But our relationship with the Lord, who gave His only Son, that Jesus gave His life up on the cross so that we have that privilege, that we don't we don't blow our trust with God because of Jesus Christ. That's a privilege that Christ earned for you and me. Jesus earned that privilege that we can always come back and say, forgive me, I'm sorry, to the Lord. And we get a clean slate and the trust is restored. So just remember, blown trust with God, no, unless we blow it and walk away from Him. But Jesus, that was earned by the blood of Christ, not us. Anything we came into this world with, anything we've done while we've been here, did not earn that trust. Jesus' blood on the cross bought us that trust. So, all right, well, anything else? No? Take care. God bless each of you.